Another thing you should do is if he's massing Colossus, like if they're not just support but they're like the good fundamental chunk of his fleet, you should be getting weapons upgrades for your Vikings. This War Prism did scout out my new expansion, which is the next thing I need to talk about, which I wasn't really doing well in my old games. In my old matches, I'd always win mid-game. You know, I would get the early economic lead with my expansion, and then I make this big ball of units and I go out and win the game. And I never had to worry about expanding more. But now that I'm at a higher level, and I'm facing players who actually can match me in economy and match me in upgrades and match me in fleet size, I'm having games go longer, and I've just run out of minerals at times and lost games because of it. So this is still a work in progress. I'm still not good at expanding. But it's definitely something I need to add to my game. Especially now that I'm getting proper saturation in my bases, I'm mining out a lot quicker in my bases. So I'm mining about 200 or 300 more minerals per minute. I'm guessing this is per minute. I don't even know what this number represents. 1600 per minute? Sounds about right. So Protoss is also taking his third expansion, except his is at a high yield, which is pretty devastating. And I actually don't know about it yet. No, I do know about it. My first attack actually pushed out to try to kill it unsuccessfully because I lost my entire fleet. You know, he is... I could go around and come in from behind. I wasn't sure what sort of observer coverage he had, whether I'd be able to sneak in from behind. But that was an option in this game that I didn't take. Instead, I was concentrating hard on this high mineral expansion, which is a smart thing to do. But the problem is he's also concentrating hard on defending it. So here I come in with a very similar fleet composition. Looks like I got 3 or 4 Vikings against 3 Colossus. This time he does have 1/1 upgrades. I got 2/2 upgrades. But again, very good use of this, what's it, Force Shield or whatever it is. He kept my units out of the fight pretty good. It's a tough area to fight on. He's also mixed in Immortals, which is smart since I'm so Marauder heavy. So I lost that fight pretty devastatingly? That's not a word. Pretty convincingly, I'll say. And now since he did scan my expansion with his Warp Prism, he is coming in for the counterattack now. Now that he had a pretty decisive win, this is a good time to attack. We pause right here. His unit count is at 118, where mine is only... Oh, mine's actually 113. So our fleets are actually similar sizes, because he has a lot more harvesters than I do as well. That's a random place for a ghost. Interesting. But you can see I do have more barracks, so I was able to replenish faster this time than if I just had 4 or 5. A couple with reactors do help. So he will come in, but the one thing no Terran gets, so even in Platinum League people are not used to it, is fighting the Planetary Fortress. People still highly underestimate it. This is where it would have been a great addition to have the range upgrade on my missile turrets, because then these missile turrets would actually be able to hit these Colossus. I guess there is only 1 Colossus left. So he comes in before the attack, and a nice part of this attack is that he has a lot of units focused on my Planetary Fortress. And basically that's just wasted attack, because you're not going to take this down when I'm repairing it. With no Colossus left, I just put my Vikings on the ground so they can help in any way they can. Vikings are not really good ground attack. They're pretty good against small units. So if he was heavy on Zealots or High Templar or something, or Sentries, they would do well there. So he went from having a slight edge to probably being a little behind now, because he did lose a massive portion of his fleet. I'm still at 92 supply. He's down to 84. The one bonus for him is I never got my SCVs back on gas. One thing I do like to do when I expand, I'm usually happy getting like 3-2 upgrades or 3-1. Armor isn't that important. I'll get it if there's nothing else I need. But usually when I expand the second time, what I do is I get building armor. Because once his fleets get this big, they can actually take out Planetary Fortress pretty instantaneously. And I'm not sure if building armor helps much, but I figure it just may be that extra bit I need to be able to surround and repair it, rather than him just destroying it. I'm setting up another command center. I'll probably float to the high yield. If not, I'll be floating to this base. He has given up on the Colossus, which is probably a good idea, especially since I have all these Vikings and Marauders. Immortals are great. Their Hardened Shield takes less damage from Marauders, and if you look at their outputs, yeah, they do 22 damage, but versus armored units like Marauders, 55 damage. Now this is, I get a lot of luck right here. One, he had his units nice and clumped, so I brought in a Ghost and put down the mother of all EMPs. Like, almost all his sentries have lost all their mana, so he's not going to be able to wall off, and look how many sentries he has. That's like 12 of them I hit. I knocked the shields off one Immortal, so he's lost that Hardened Shields versus the Marauder attack. And the other nice advantage I have is, this was not timed at all, but my 3-3 upgrades are going to finish just as I attack. It's going to be like perfect timing. And one more piece of good luck is he does warp in High Templar, which you know are completely useless when they're first made. And there we go. Even though economically he's not too far behind, he did lose his entire fleet. GG's, which is probably the right decision. I mean, I still have 120 fleet, where his is down to 60. Given my, well, mineral intake will even out just because I took out his high mineral expansion. Like I said, my expanding is not doing as well as it could. I should probably almost double expand when I do go out to expand, and try to time it with an attack so I can get things set up. So yeah, that's I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about in terms of things I did wrong in previous matches. So just to review, get high saturation on your expansions. You want a good 50 supply in harvesters just for your first two bases. Be careful with your medevacs accidentally picking up units. I mean, sometimes you might do it just by the way you select them as well, so always watch your medevacs. Look for those yellow bars. If you see those yellow bars, unload. Get your Vespians up fairly early, and you know, obviously I take SCVs off my Vespians at the beginning just to get my once I plant my fortress, so just so I can get my barracks up quickly. But after that, you want to get these fully loaded, and you want to get your expansion ones get fully loaded as quick as possible. And the reason for those Vespians is you want to upgrade. You want to be diligent on your upgrades. Get 2 engineering bays, get the armory so you can go past 1-1. If you do go scouting with your factory, make sure you plant your armory before your factory dies. Because I've made that mistake before, sent my factory out scouting and then had to make another factory just to get my armory down. Get lots of barracks, because you never know when you'll need to replenish a fleet, or if your macro is bad like mine, you may need to pump out units really quickly just to spend the resources that you pulled up. And expand. I mean, especially with the proper saturation, these bases are going to go dry fairly fast, so you know, basically by the time you got your big ball of units and your medevacs out, you should be thinking about expanding, and probably expanding twice. Yeah, so I hope those tips help you, and I hope you enjoy this replay a little bit more than some of the noobs I played in the past. And I think I'll actually append on a couple fights against other Protosses where they kick my butt, and I'll I'll talk about some of the high-level Protoss play you can run into in Diamond League. All right, I'll do that now.